Hey, welcome back. My name is Monica and this is my nursing school channel. So, I just finished my first 2 weeks of my second semester of nursing school. So that is pretty cool and I thought I would share a little bit about it. So on Monday I first started out with Gerontology lecture, and that class I have twice a week, Monday and Friday. And my professor seemed really cool for that class. I'm really excited for the clinical aspect of that class. The lecture just so far seems like just the basic knowledge. Doesn't seem anything too in-depth like the patho of the older generation or anything like that. It just seems like, the culture and, how they feel like they're not included in everyday culture with the young people. So it's interesting to learn about that. I've worked with old people, I shouldn't say that, senior citizens for a while, so I have a good knowledge of them, but it's good to like an academic knowledge, as well as personal experiences as well. And that class should be good. We already had to do ATI stuff for that. Oh my gosh, that took forever. And we already have some assignments for that, so, but it's nursing school. It never gets easier, I guess. Maybe it does, I don't know. And then after that I had pharmacology, and this class I think I'm most excited about because my professor seems really awesome. She seems to know her stuff, and she's really passionate about the subject, so that's pretty cool. And just the subject is interesting too. Like, I was really into patho last semester, so I'm excited to get into more of like the drugs and the medicine, the pharmacology of it. So far, we already have a test next week. Oh my god. So I've been studying for that. We just learned stuff about like the pharmacological processes of absorption, distribution, all of that, how the body metabolizes it, half-lives, that kind of thing. So it's not into the drug names yet and drug categories, just kind of the process of how drugs get absorbed. And I already have a test on that, so thanks. But I'm really excited about that class. That seems like a really interesting class, and the professor is awesome. She's great. The time flies by in her classroom, so it's fantastic. I absolutely am excited for that class. It'll be a lot of work. I already know that right off the bat, but it will be a good class, I think. I mean, let's see later down the line if I'm still thinking that, but so far I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be really cool. Just interesting stuff. I like to learn about the science aspect and everything, so I'm excited for that. And then afterwards I had nursing communication, which so far was just like a group discussion thing. Nothing too bad. We have a quiz on Monday, so I mean, it was just under like the ADPI, assessment, diagnosis, planning, implementation, evaluation, that kind of thing, and dangers of communication, all that. So it should be a good class. The professor is really sweet, so I'm not really worried about that class. It's just like right now I'm like, what do I study? I have material, but it's just like, what are they looking for, I guess. It's always the first test, you're always never sure what the professor is asking for, so it's just something you gotta get used to. After that, I had, let me think. Oh, yeah, on Tuesdays, so that was my Monday, and on Tuesday I had my gerontology lab for the first time. That was cool because we got to wear our scrubs for the first time to class, actually. That was pretty cool. What we did for that is we got into our clinical groups, and they gave us a patient, like the word, like on a paragraph or something, like their age, what they came into the hospital for, and how would you assess them for it. So we actually had to practice on each other, like remembering how to assess people, because it's been, a whole summer, so it was kind of getting our feet wet again. So we had to do that, kind of remember, like, how to do the blood pressure, where the parts of the hearts, to auscultate and everything, knowing where to percuss, assessing the lungs, that kind of thing. So we practiced on each other for that, and then we went to the simulation lab, which was pretty cool, and the professor was in there talking for the patient. It was a mannequin, and so we had to go and assess the patient, and it was all recorded. So that was a little pressure, but it wasn't great or anything. It was just for our own knowledge that we could look back on later and, I don't know, laugh at ourselves and see later on how much we improved, which is pretty cool. But mine was pretty good. So like our patient simulation was a gentleman who came in with a broken wrist and who had knee pain. So, I asked him all the questions like, when you've been feeling this pain, is it from a scale of 1 to 10, what aggravates the pain, right away, I did that right away because that's what he came for, the pain. And I asked him all these questions about it, and I took his blood pressure, and I assessed his heart rate, and it was really cool though, because it was kind of weird talking to a mannequin at first, because, they're blinking and everything, but it was, once you got used to it, it wasn't bad at all. And the only thing though that I did that I remembered as soon as I left, I was feeling really good about the entire time. I was like, okay, I got the blood pressure, I asked about the pain, assessed the situation, I saw how much movement he had. He didn't have movement, but I asked him if I get the capillary refill. I saw if it was too tight or anything. I assessed the swollenness of his knee and everything. But then when I got out, I remembered, oh my gosh, I left the blood pressure kit on the mannequin. Yeah. So, but it wasn't deflated, but I left it on there. But I told my professor, and he was like, oh, it's no big deal. As long as you asked all the questions and did the things you were supposed to do, that's a minor mistake compared to a lot of different things. So I was like, okay. But it was kind of funny. And I didn't actually get to watch myself because the website didn't work. Which is kind of like, yay, I don't get to see how awkward I was, but then, like, kind of wanted to see. So, I don't know. So, I'm excited about that. Next week in lab, we actually get to do medication administration and injections, so I'm pretty excited for that. That should be pretty cool. Then, on Thursdays as well, I have ethics in medicine, which my school is required to take a philosophy class, and that counts as one. And that's what's actually really interesting, which I thought it would be. It's always, you talk about the things in nursing, but then you don't really talk about too in-depth about, like, the ethics and different, kind of, I don't know, scandals, what people are cited on. So it's cool to have a class dedicated separately to that. And so far, that class was really interesting. We talked about all the hurricane stuff, which was horrible recently. We talked about Hurricane Katrina. She asked us, how there was a hospital that was flooding, and all things were flooding up, and the patients that were unable to leave, what do? Do you leave them there? You're running out of food supply and water supply, what do you do? Do you inject a dangerous amount of morphine into them to essentially kill them? Or do you, just let them suffer and drown, or die of starvation and dehydration, or what do you do? And so that was an interesting thing to think about. Your patient's always the main part of why you're there. So it's exciting to talk about that kind of stuff, and I saw some of the topics for later on in the class, and one of them was uterus transplant. So just really cool, interesting medical things that I'll be able to use in the hospital experience about what is considered ethical and what do you do. You know what I mean? So I'm excited for that class. It's really interesting so far. I really liked it. So those are all my classes for this week. I learned a lot in pharm so far. I've been doing the most reading out of that. Oh, we have so much reading. But it's your textbook is basically your pillow at night. If you sleep with it, maybe you'll learn more. I don't know. But I've been reading a lot for that class, and I've actually learned a lot, which is exciting. I like to learn about new stuff. I want to know this knowledge for a long time, so I like learning it because I really want to be a nurse, so it's something I'm really interested in. So that's pretty cool. That's definitely my favorite class, and I'm excited to do more hands-on stuff in the Gero lab. That should be pretty cool. I'm excited about. And yeah, this weekend I have my commitment ceremony, which our school does to commit to the profession of nursing before your first clinical. So I have that tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. All my family will be there, and it'll be pretty exciting. I get to wear my scrubs, look cute in my scrubs, because I probably will never do my hair and makeup like that ever for clinical. So I'm excited to look very cute in my scrubs. Yeah. So yeah, that was my first 2 weeks. It was exciting. It was a lot of stuff, a lot of busy work, but that's nursing school. So I'm excited to keep going to start my first clinical. I'll start it in October. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.